This is coming from Into Beats 106.5 FM. Hello, this is Amy Botez here from PEPPED Productions. How's it all going? Okay, so a little bit more about me, just in case you missed my last series on performing your way to success. I'm a professional RADA-trained actress and communication coach, and I offer training and coaching to business professionals in everything from presentation skills to personal impact in meetings, to confidence building, to team building. Anything to do with communication and making the most of who you are, we can help you with. And we use physical, vocal, and mental exercises to literally take a person from Clark Kent and make him into Superman. Now, if you wondered how the average person can use acting techniques to become the best possible version of themselves, you're in luck, because during this series, I'll be sharing my top tips on how to take centre stage. Because after all, I believe that life is one long improvisation, and to nick a phrase from Shakespeare, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. Following on from last week's discussion on taking your place in a conversation, I want to delve a little deeper into why we might not automatically do this. One reason why we don't confidently take part in a conversation can be to do with our own lack of self-esteem or inhibition. And this can be a huge problem, even for the most confident seeming of people. And it catches me off guard from time to time. Say, for example, I'm in a conversation with people I don't really know very well. Like when I used to do an exercise class at a local gym, there was a group of very chatty ladies who seemed to all know each other very well. And because I hadn't managed to speak at the first class I attended, this almost became my role. Whenever I took part in that class, I was a self-appointed mute. Now, for those of you who know me, you'll find this quite funny because usually you just can't shut me up. And somehow, being in amongst a group of people who seem to know each other very well and not me, made me feel incredibly inhibited. And it took a long time to summon the courage to speak. And when I did, it still took me a good few weeks before I was able to hold any type of fluent conversation. Now, when I did manage to pluck up the courage to speak, it was absolutely fine. It turned out that the people in the group who I'd assumed knew each other really well actually didn't know one another outside of the class at all. But they just managed to leave their inhibition at the door and chatted without it getting in the way of their confidence. So what does that teach us? Well, often, in conversation, our own assumptions of the situation and our inhibitions based on these assumptions are unfounded. It all stems from fear of rejection or humiliation. We all want to belong to the pack. But when we're unsure of the pecking order, we protect ourselves by keeping quiet. It's a basic part of human nature. Our fight or flight instincts are deeply entrenched. And when faced with the unknown, we perceive this as a potential threat. And this affects our behaviour. So what to do? Maybe just have a little conversation with yourself before going into a situation like this. Try to leave your inhibition at the door. And I sometimes imagine that I've had a glass of wine, or that the people I'm about to meet are going to be my future best friends. Whatever you need to do mentally to stop yourself from feeling threatened, do it. And the key is, most people don't really care how you feel inside and will only respond when you take interest in them, i.e., you need to be part of the conversation to make an impact. And being inhibited is a self-imposed censor on conversation. It's time to throw your inhibition out of the window. And you can listen back to this segment on my website, which is www.peppedproductions.co.uk. And if you have any comments or you want to share something, please don't hesitate to follow me on Twitter at WeArePepped, and you can use the hashtag WeArePepped, that's PEPPED, or check us out on Facebook, where we're listed as PEPPED Productions. This is coming from Into Beats 106.5 FM.